Hello, nice to have you again with us. Have you heard that a house is only a house and can only become a home when a woman moves in and runs it? Well, it's not my quote, but then it's definitely a bragging right for me and a lot of women. And the problem therein is that a lot of times, because we feel we can, we begin to think that we are invincible. But that's not true. That quality is only attributed to God alone. We have our challenges as women. We have our problems as women. And one of them, big time, is the health. Yes, a lot of us have health challenges going on within our bodies. Sometimes we know it, sometimes we don't. But then not knowing it does not make us okay, because ignorance is never a saver. We must always ensure that we get to find out, which is why we must have this conversation. Yes, Women's Month, and our theme this year is to accelerate action in diverse fields. Today we're accelerating our action in health, and then we're ensuring that at the end of the day, if you haven't done the needful, you will go straight up and do the needful to have a better you in health. The show is conversation and the house is full. Hello.
Hello. It's good to be here. You
Joy
look
is
really
coming.
lovely.
Joy has come.
Joy is already here.
Yeah, Joy is here.
All right, and
Hello, Maimuna Umi Abdullah. It's nice to be here.
and
Devan Hamachi, your mom, and it's great to be part of the conversation as usual.
all right, it's great, and I'm going to fire at you right away. I want to know, when last did you do your medical checks?
Okay.
She said okay.
No, the thing is, it's not something I'm supposed to do it routinely. I don't. I'm not even happy about that. I'm not happy. I have to admit that. That's not good.
But it makes you human.
I don't remember when last I went to hospital for the sake of just doing a check. Yes, I've been to hospital because I'm not
sick.
feeling too well today, but I'm perfectly fine, but let me just go find out what's up. I can't recall.
Okay, and
2023.
2023.
Yeah, I used to, end of the year, there is this program they do in one of this hospital in Abuja. They give a bonus prize, slash the prize for checkup. So I think I did it last 2023. Last year, 2024, I didn't.
Wow.
When was the last? Let me tell you. I don't know. Is it 5 years now when I had issues? You know, the only thing I think I didn't do was MRI. And what happened was that premenopausal, menopause, and it was really terrible. So I didn't have a choice because I was uncomfortable. I was sick, so I had to do my test. But I think I should go do my test.
After that, you said goodbye to regular checkups. All right, don't worry, you're not alone. I wasn't used to, like Devon said, getting up and going to do checks until some things triggered it, and what I discovered at first was mind-blowing, so I had to pay more attention. I think I was just forced by situation to go do it more regularly. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't bother, because, in this country, a lot of us will always tell you there's no money for regular things.
No, but it's not really like that. I remembered when I had to do my mammogram, and I thought I was supposed to do mammogram every year, and they told me that no, I can't
it's painful.
It's for my sister. Whether it's painful is not painful, it's what you're running away from, the reality of what you're running away from. But the thing here was that I was advised that I cannot do mammogram every year.
What about the pap smear? I do pap smear every year.
No, the mammogram is different. Pap smear is okay.
Yeah.
Mammogram is not, I think, until you reach a certain age. But we have a doctor who will be joining us. Director, if you can get a doctor, let's just quickly say good morning to him, sorry. So let's see if we can get a doctor. Let's quickly say good morning and hello to him at the same time. So he will be joining us, and then a lot of these questions you're asking, he will okay, it's here. Good day, doctor. Nice to have you join us.
Good morning.
All right. How are you doing, doctor?
Very well, thank you. It's a good day.
It's always a pleasure to have you, because you remind us quickly that women are important to you, which is why you had to go study. Your mom is a woman, and your wife is a woman, your children, you have women mixed as well. So thank you for joining us. And we're just talking about medical checks. Before we move to the field, I'd like to know, how regularly should we have our checks? as ladies?
It's ideal to have annual checks. I mean, in some culture, it's a regular thing. They call it annual checks. But much more in organized health systems, they actually follow you up, because there are certain checks you need to do at a certain age, and they write to you to remind you. And if you need to have a follow-up, they send you a mail. You should come and have your, because if you are healthy, it contributes to the economy of the country. And if you are not healthy, it depletes the economy. So it's the responsibility of actually government also to ensure that people stay healthy. And that's why in such system, they take it upon themselves to inform you, to encourage you, to make sure you have your appropriate test done.
All right, so while you were talking about if you are healthy, it helps with productivity of the nation, and that's why government should follow. Joy was laughing. What was that laughter for?
Government in Nigeria, I don't think they're bothered. The hospitals don't even have doctors. Everybody has jackpot.
Anyway,
you cannot even afford the drugs that are there. So, government, how?
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there, because I know that some hospitals here in Nigeria, I have had experience more than once, where I went to do my eye check, and then the orthopedics hospital somewhere in Abuja here too, without meaning to run advert. I'm not going to call their names, but somehow they actually call me to remind me I'm supposed to do something,
Yeah.
So they follow
Is
up.
it
And when you
private?
yes, it's private. So they actually do that.
Yeah,
I wish
no,
our government hospitals.
So how many
Your
people
point.
can
Yeah.
afford it?
I wish our government hospitals would
No,
get
but
to.
to be honest, the first time I experienced it, I didn't like it because I'm not used to it.
You didn't like what?
The follow-up. It wasn't for me. I had a relative, a young relative that was losing his hearing. So I had taken him a number of times. Whoever is going to the hospital, I tend to tag along, because I've seen people walk with their two legs into a space and collapse.
Yeah.
So I don't let people go to
Go
hospital
there
alone
alone.
if I can help it. So I had followed him, and all the checks and everything. And they called me back, after a month. I was like, oh, that's nice. But the next time they called me, I was like, no, what's the problem? Why are you people bothering my life? This is a health issue. If you don't reach us like that, we will come by ourselves. Don't be calling me every 2 minutes. What's the
They want
problem?
to make money.
Yeah, that's where my mind went. I'm like, are you guys broke? I didn't say it, but I didn't appreciate. I should have appreciated
Typical
it.
Nigeria attitude.
You said no, it's our perception
Well,
in
maybe when you're
Nigeria.
already used to the absence of
Yeah.
something, when I was traumatized, why on they phone me? What is it?
I don't
And
understand.
I guess they were trying to be nice. They were
Nice.
trying to do
Definitely.
things. the
That's how,
proper way.
that's how it's supposed to be done.
Yes, that's
how
the
it's
way it's
supposed to
supposed
be.
to
And
be.
Because we are
I
not
was
used to
not
it.
feeling it, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one. Probably they got yelled at by a number of people on some occasions. Like, what's the problem? When we go to hospital for proper sickness, if nobody calls us,
That's
we're just
true.
calling for ear. Came to you for ear, and then now we cannot put phone down again. What is it?
A month after now.
All right. I don't know if he's on the streets trying to find out from Nigerians, other women, what is
God.
happening with their health. Director, can you connect to a?
Knowledge is power, just as education is the key to success. This can very well be applied to our health. We have also had the saying, early detection is a cure. However, it can only be a cure with guaranteed medical visits. Now for us ladies, how many of us walk this path to regular checks? I'll stop you there. Let's stop the guessing game and find out from a sample of Nigerian women how regular they have medical visits.
The last time I did my full medical checkup was in December 2024. Yeah. And how regularly do I do it? I'm not really consistent. Sometimes I do it twice a year. Sometimes I do it every quarter of the year.
The last time I had a general medical checkup was in 2023, October. How often do I do it? Not often, I must confess, not often, but I did have it in 2023.
Genuinely speaking, I don't think I've ever had like a full medical check from start to finish. I've had like different parts where I'd have my blood pressure checked, or if I had a health concern, then they will investigate only pertaining towards what your health concern is. If they need bloods, they'll order bloods. If they need an x-ray scan, they'll do an x-ray scan. But yeah.
Yes, I do go for medical checkups, and very often. You know, I grew up, my parents are medical personnel, and I grew up to know about how important health is to everyone. So I don't joke when it comes to visiting the hospital. But most recently, after clocking 40, I felt it is very necessary that I visit the hospital more frequently.
I do it twice in a month. I go to hospital, although we have a family doctors. I go to hospital. I do some lab in some areas that I feel that I need to, that is necessary for me to do. I do check myself because it's good to look healthy.
I went for a medical checkup last in October. So it covers everything from a blood test to I think a mouth swab, vaginal swab, and also a pap smear. And then they also check your weight, and then they check your BP as well.
After hearing the opinions of some Nigerian women, we'll head back into the studio to find out why it is important for us to have regular medical checkups, or why we shouldn't even bother at all.
Okay, somebody told us that she has checkup twice in a month. That's huge. But let's quickly go see doctor. Director will want to talk with the doctor, get to find out how many times in a week, in a month, in a year are we supposed to do, checks. And then when we say full medical checks for women, not men, it's a month, what should we be asking or looking, to have done on checked in our bodies?
Well, the need for checkup is because very dangerous diseases start silently, quietly, without notice. Most times the diseases that come roaring are not as dangerous as the as the one that start quietly. So it's only during checkup that one can pick those diseases early before they become a full-blown disease, or at the early phase, and then intervention can actually cure the disease. Really, prevention is more cheaper than cure. Prevention is a lot cheaper. So if we can prevent some of these diseases by actually making early diagnosis, it will go a long way to help us economically. The frequency varies. I know for some people who have some underlying condition already that warrants a more frequent visit to the hospital. Even when they are not sick, they will tell them to come for regular checkup. Let's say somebody has hypertension, is being watched by the doctor, the appointment will be more regular than somebody that is healthy, that will just need to go. I would say a constant one is once in a year, might be average for most people. But certain check varies. If you do, like pap smear, if you do one and it's normal, you might be given up to 3 to 5 years, appointment for a repeat. And similarly, for women, quite a number of areas to pay attention to are cervical pap smear. Cancer of the cervix is prevalent. Breast, cancer of the breast has become an epidemic. Pay attention to their general well-being, check the blood to see if the kidney is okay, the liver, and the other things. And then pay attention also to their sight, hearing, as they grow, because some of these organs will start waning as one grow older. So you need to check and discover if there is a problem. You pay attention to them as soon as possible.
Okay. I don't know. When we try to ask questions, I found out a whole lot. But maybe before we get back to the doctor, the ladies here will talk about it a little bit You know, we try to ask some people questions, and a lot was said about the hormone imbalance and menopause as part of what worries women who are above 30. I don't know what your takes are. I don't know what your takes,
all right.
yeah.
Okay. My gynae used to tell me then that when you're hitting 40, you know, weight is very important.
Weight, okay.
Weight. He always used to say, watch your weight, make sure you do your exercises. He even advised me to do boxing. Oh yes, he did. He said because he noticed it's my upper body, so there are certain things exercise you do, boxing, swimming, and all that. But I don't think I had the power to do boxing. I skipped that, but I did swimming, and somehow it helped me. And he used to tell me, you have to change your diet. My diet, what time you have to stop to eat, and all. You see, most of the time we think it's more of medical, but there are certain things we have to do for our well-being. Food, oil, salt. Then he told me something about what is the history in your family about certain illnesses. And you know, he will ask you, do you diabetes, high blood pressure, and all that. So that sort of helped me to navigate how I used to go to the hospital. So,
but did it help with menopause?
No, it didn't. It didn't help with menopause because what happened was that I think my mom was taking what do you call what's all those supplements, and I realized I wasn't a supplement person. Okay. So when it now got to menopause, I thought I was dying. You know, so it was when I had to go to hospital. They did the thyroid test. They were doing all the tests. The only one I didn't have the this thing to do was the MRI, because I'm a bit claustrophobic. So I was scared to do that. But by the time they checked and did everything, they now said, "Look, madam, it's menopause," and it was a very difficult time in my life because that thing happened for a stretch of 3 years, 2 to 3 years. And the worst one was palpitation. But you see, after a while, when you go to your doctor and you talk, I had to change some certain things I used to eat. I had to, you know, exercise and all that. That one sort of stabilized me.
Okay, before we quickly go back to Devon, I'd like Doctor to speak on this menopause thing, because he came top on the list of things that women, you know, complain about. So what are those things that we should do to ensure that we walk ahead mitigation for menopause problem? Doctor, can you hear? Okay, I can see you. So what are the things we can do to ensure that at the time is coming? She mentioned her mother was doing a few things and it worked for her, and she didn't. It didn't work for her. So what should we do to make sure that when menopause comes, it comes nice and smoother?
Okay, let me first start by saying that menopause is not a disease. Menopause is a phase, a transition from one level in a woman's life to another level. And let's start by working on our minds, because menopause as a condition affects the whole of our being. It affects the body, it affects the mind. And to a large extent, the affectation of the mind is probably worse than the body. You know, there's a lot of psychological changes and things like that. So let's first be aware that menopause is a natural thing, and it's going to happen to all women. Let's accept it, let's embrace it, let's prepare for it. Okay? That's when we can be well adjusted to it. Now, a number of things that we can do to prepare for menopause is to be aware. Read, talk to people, be conscious of what it is and what will likely happen or may not happen. And when you're aware of that, ask questions about what to do. It relates with health promotion, diet, exercise, lifestyle, certain things to avoid. If you are sedentary, menopause might not be good for you. You might need to start exercising, put your weight in check. A number of simple things. And then we can go to diet. There are some diets that are rich in some supplements that will help your body to cope more effectively with menopause. And then there are supplements, several of them. She tried to mention Primus, whatever, that the mother was using. There are many other ones. Some are fake, some are good, but there are several in town. But if we notice in the old time, menopause was not as much of a problem to our old women like it is now. I think it has to do with diet and exercise. And we need to, and live in a community, a loving community, the extended family system, with the family support and everything. That's a way of helping, having the tender, loving care all around you.
Okay, I'm just wondering, you mentioned about diet and the other exercise and other lifestyle patterns. Now, I would like to know, what are those, telltale signs that can happen? You said we should read, we should prepare. A lady told us that when she didn't know it was premenopausal issues, she found out that at night she couldn't sleep. Is that also part of it?
It is.
Yes.
It is. It is. What happens in menopause, you have a sudden, well, it's not so sudden, it's gradual. You have a gradual withdrawal of the hormone, the woman hormone, estrogen. And it starts going down. And that hormone actually affects all the parts of the body. It affects the way you relate. It affects every part of the body. So when it's being withdrawn gradually, naturally, your body starts reacting to that. It comes in sleeplessness, in fear, palpitation. Yeah. It comes in being aggressive for some women. It comes in so many symptoms. Almost all parts of the body, all the systems are affected, even the brain, everything, because the hormone works on all parts of the body. So that is the main pathology. So when you are prepared for it, you begin to learn how to cope with it, how to respond to those emotions, how to adjust to those feelings, and what you can do to mitigate the hot feelings, the sleeplessness. It's not all of it that you need drug for, really. And as much as possible, you should avoid using drugs.
Yeah.
All right, as the doctor was talking, I was just thinking, okay, how are our husbands going to cope with it? Because when you suddenly move from that loving, gentle wife to be very aggressive, the man talks, you snap and all that, I hope they will understand. We'll get back to the doctor too.
You're not loving all the time anyway.
You say what?
You're not loving all the time anyway.
We're not loving all the time.
We are not loving
all the time. No, but seriously, so I think it's just worse perhaps during menopause. And for me, I'm almost 50, and when my friends talk about menopause, to be honest, I'm still waiting for it. Because the first flashes, one of my friends came over and she was always sweating, always uncomfortable. And I said, oh my God, please God, don't let me go through this part. So I think, but like Dr. said, it's all about, perhaps because of my work, I'm a mindset coach. I talk about mental health. So I've been working on myself and programming myself in preparation for menopause. It's a part of life, it's a phase, as Doc has said. So when it comes, just manage it. The emotional, the mood swings are things already we talk about in emotional intelligence. So just basically learning to manage it. And I think the lifestyle, for me, it's key. We have to receive sense. There are certain things you cannot eat anyhow as you grow older. I remember about 30 years ago, I used to take Coke with every meal. With every meal, I took a bottle of Coke, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Who born me now to try it? Wow. So as you grow, you might go receive sense. You have to eat healthy. I eat a lot more vegetables. Some people know they even borrow. So you eat healthy, eat a lot more vegetables, less canned food, less drinks, more of water. I think for almost 10 years now. And supplements, honestly, supplements are fantastic. I've been taking supplements for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's why I'm in trouble.
Yeah, supplements are fantastic. They're good for the body. Because I work a lot with my laptop, I even take antioxidant for the eyes. There's a night. So I think it's all about being intentional. Yeah. You know who you are, you know where you are in your life, you know where you're headed, you should prepare for it.
Well, I don't know what Devon has to add to it, because it's a big issue for all of us.
Well, I think it's a phase like any other phase. You go from childhood into your teens, where you begin to menstruate as your body prepares you for the possibility of motherhood, and you have that window frame within which your body can carry a baby and all of that. And then there comes a time when the body says, okay, let's put a full stop to this. And I think it's good the body does that, because I think that there are women who are married into situations where if there were no menopause, they would be forced to keep having children into, So it's good. It's a welcome development. It's just for you as the woman to know what to expect, and know how to handle it.
All right, beyond menopause and issues around it, I don't know if you have other issues you want to share about women's health.
I want to share about fibroid.
Okay, fibroid, okay.
Yeah, I had a friend, I lost a friend.
Oh.
She was hitting 50, and she had the fibroid for like 12, 15 years. And anytime we go out, they'll say, "Oh, madam, so no," they will allow her in first because so she said, "Joy, pregnant. Do they think I'm pregnant?" So during COVID, when we used to go to the supermarket, they let you queue. So I'll say, Josie, move forward. That's what we used to do. And they will allow us in and all that. And I remember I was telling her that, "You're going to be 50. Why do you want to do surgery? Just let it be." I said, because it's not every doctor that knows how to take care of fibroid. Because most of the time, like my doctor said, the fibroid, most of the time, some are on blood cells. So if you don't know how to operate it and you just yank it off, you bleed to death. And most people that I know that have died, that's what has happened. And my doctor told me something. He said, when you're having menopause, after a while, the blood dries up. So fibroid, within some years, everything goes. So I always tell people that if you can manage the pain and it's not below you, then why don't you just wait till when you have menopause and it just disappears by itself? It's a very scary. Yeah. If you have friends who have it, when it's period time, the pain. Some people say when fibroid is lower, it hurts and all that. But I won't lie to you. I would rather just wait till menopause too. But everybody's different.
I once had a guest at home. She was in the guest room.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the night, there was this noise, sound, banging on the door. I got scared. I walked up to the guest room and I was begging her to open the door. She couldn't even open. She just kept shouting and lamenting. And then at the point, I had to look for a spare key to open the door because she already locked herself inside. This lady was on the floor.
Blood.
And the floor was uncontrollable. She was screaming. I got scared. I didn't know what was going on. So eventually, I tried to talk to her and ask questions. She said, "Don't worry, I'm just menstruating and it's painful." That was all she managed to tell me, and it took so long to say that. When she got better, 2 days after, I said, "Why is your period coming with so much trauma?" She said, "Because of fibroid." It was my first time seeing that kind of a thing, and I was really, really shocked. But let's see what doctor has to say, because this fibroid thing, it looks like almost every woman is carrying it. I don't know.
No, I didn't carry it.
I didn't either.
I didn't. So
I don't think it's everybody.
I
don't have that issue.
I don't think it's everybody. And what they
but
say.
I'm hearing it more often now.
But the one that the doctor used to say, "Oh, you have to carry a baby. If not, it's going to grow back." Because I have friends who have done it 2-3 times, and I'm wondering, they've had babies.
They remove the first one.
It comes back again. Then the doctor tells you that if you don't carry a baby, the thing is going to come back. But I see them, they're carrying babies and the fibroid is back again. So I don't get it.
The doctor is sitting here, and good thing he's a gyno. So let's stop postulating and go straight up. Doctor, please, can you answer all our questions? I don't even know how many there are now, but there are so many of them.
Fibroid is quite common. Okay, let me conclude with the menopause. I think we need to prepare our young girls for menarche, starting of their period. That's the one end of it. The other end is menopause. Because we have several young girls who have their first menstruation without being aware of what they are expect. We need to educate them. And I'm happy that myself. The same way, I hope we'll have NGO to take care of the other end of it, which is menopause, when the menses will stop. Because women will need to be prepared, be educated, so that they know how to handle that. Now let's talk about fibroid. Fibroid is quite common with black people. It's predominantly a disease of black women, to a large extent, and it's very common. It's very common. Some people say it's as common as 80% of black women. It's that common. Majority of them won't have any symptoms. For many people, they don't even know they have fibroid. Maybe they went for a scan, and then the doctor will scan and say, there's a small fibroid there. That's when they will know for the first time. It might not affect them all through life. So for majority of women, fibroid is not a problem to them. Few of them have fibroid with terrible problems. And those are the ones that we're concerned about. And the alarming symptom of fibroid is the bleeding. The excessive bleeding. It can really be terrible. It can be terrible. There are other things, pain, it's been mentioned. Then the pressure effect, because of the size, it will start resting on some other organs around the womb. And it can be as dangerous as called a kidney problem. Because if it's resting on the tube that connects the kidney, it can damage the kidney. So we know that it's a problem of reproductive age, and by the time the woman is getting to menopause, the hormone that is feeding the fibroid will no longer be there. That's the hormone that makes a woman a woman. As it's withdrawn, it will not feed the fibroid. So if the woman is close to menopause, the fibroid is not giving so much problem, she might be advised, okay, after menopause, the fibroid won't be a problem again because there will be nothing to feed it. But for some women, very rarely, the fibroid can also change. It's supposed to be a benign tumor, but it can become something more sinister. Those ones will definitely need surgery. Or if it's already compromising some other organs around the place, those ones will need surgery. But to a large extent, by the time a woman gets to menopause, the issue of heavy bleeding, the pain, so many other things might actually be cut off from the fibroid as a symptom. Fibroid, yes. Removing the fibroid can be a dangerous surgery sometimes. But it's so common around there that most doctors in Nigeria particularly can handle operating fibroid very well. Even much more than people who run abroad to go and do the fibroid, because they don't have as much experience. And to them, they are so afraid of it that they will just recommend, let's remove the whole womb. We can't start removing fibroid one by one and then the bleeding and everything. But around here, the expertise has increased because of practice. And most doctors, most gynecologists can handle it quite well, as much as possible. So we encourage people who have problems to see a gynecologist, a reputable gynecologist, and have the fibroid removed. Now, the problem is when fibroid is there, it might actually hinder getting pregnant. And not getting pregnant on time might encourage fibroid to grow.
Wow.
So there is this talk that if you allow pregnancy, it might prevent fibroid. It's not absolute, yes. It can minimize, but the main reason why fibroid is removed and the womb preserved is for the woman to have children. So the surgery is carried out. We advise the woman to quickly have her children. As soon as it's completed her family, if the fibroid should recur, the womb will be removed. That's the cure, And having to do the fibroid operation 2-3 times is more dangerous. That's even more prone to complications than doing it the first time. So as much as possible, the reason why the fibroid is removed and the womb left is for the woman to have children. So she'll be encouraged to quickly have her children, and as soon as she's completed her family, if the fibroid recurs, the womb is removed. And that will be a cure for the fibroid.
All right, this fibroid thing, is it hereditary? Or is it genetically, transferred, or can it just happen? I don't know. I've also heard some people mention that you can shrink it by taking abu, a natural thing. I don't know how that works, but I need you to speak on it.
Since we're talking
okay.
This fibroid thing, okay. Because we're directing it to the doctor, so there's a study that came out some years ago that hair relaxers have been found to have a direct link This study was not carried out in Nigeria. I think it was carried out in the United States.
Okay.
And because, like he said, it's a black women's thing, and they wanted to find out, okay, what could it be, diet, and they found that most of the women that were affected, if not all,
had relaxed hair,
were using relaxers.
Oh, wow.
Very, very frequently. So I don't know, is this some kind of, is it pseudoscience? Is it just pop culture? Is it just gossip? But to be very frank, that was partly what informed my decision to go natural. And you'll see that there are many Nigerian women, I don't know if they're also aware of it, but there was a time when that story really went round. And I was like, it's possible, because there are chemicals that you can absorb through your skin. Yeah. That's why you're also told not to bleach. It affects your internal organs. So if bleaching creams can affect my internal organs, then there might be merit. There might be merit in thinking that hair relaxers and all these chemicals might also.
Knowledge is power. I never knew that.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I ignored it. Then other people started mentioning it, and I was like, okay, maybe there's merit in it. But luckily, we have a doctor here that will tell us whether it's true or not.
People who are bleaching don't know.
No, because I know that hydroquinone in bleaching cream and mercury, they are actually very bad, and they expose you to the UV. Which
yeah, that's I thought everybody knew about the damage. They know. Well, oh, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Sorry to digress, but you know, Mariam Babangida, First Lady Mariam Babangida, she was a dark-skinned woman, and back then it was the military. You know, things could happen based on order. And that was when there was this whole campaign against bleaching. You could not even import the creams into the country and all of that. So back then there was a lot of education around it. So even as a child, I remembered, you know, and saw value in keeping my skin dark. I mean, like, the woman was dark and she was beautiful. So that helped me to realize that you don't have to be light-skinned to be considered beautiful. It was a very good, but let the doctor throw more light on that.
You know, speak on this. Devon has just mentioned about the hair dye, and then I already asked, can
relaxers,
hair relaxers, sorry. Can agbo shrink fibroid as well?
The cause of fibroid is not known, but there are some factors that can encourage the growth of fibroid. And one of the major factors is hormone, as I mentioned before. You know, most of these have some ingredients. Some of them are hormonal. Maybe the hair relaxer you mentioned has some hormonal components. Maybe. Then it can actually contribute to the growth of the fibroid. Apart from that, yeah, there is also a genetic predisposition, you know, but it's not labeled as a cause. Yeah, it might be something that affects sisters, it might be something that affects mother, daughter. Yeah, there is. But it's not 100% that if the mother had fibroid, certainly the daughter will have fibroid. It's not like that. Some might escape, some might not. Yeah, there is a genetic touch to it. And there are drugs to shrink fibroid. Yeah. Even conventional drugs. I'm not talking of herbal drugs, because I don't know much about that. There are conventional drugs to shrink fibroid. But the limitation with these drugs is that they have their own side effects, number one. Number two, they can't work for a long time. So if we have to give it, you give it for a short while, and the moment you stop those drugs, there will be a rebound growth, you know. So what people use that drug for commonly is if the fibroid is so big and the woman is going for surgery and you want to reduce the size before surgery so that you can minimize the bleeding, you give the drug for a while so that the size of the fibroid will be released before surgery. And commonly that's what it's used for. Or if the woman is close to menopause and it's becoming a terrible problem, you just want to quieten the fibroid for a while before she gets to menopause. That one is also done. But a permanent drug that will remove fibroid, I'm not aware of that. And traditional medicine, yeah, there are good ones, there are bad ones. I'm also not aware of any that has actually cured fibroid. I've encountered a large number of women who are afraid of having surgery. And they trusted in herbal medications. I don't discourage them. If they still have time, go ahead. And some of them come back after a while with a worse fibroid, a number of them. I've not seen any that has given a report of total cure of fibroid. So I can't speak to that. Maybe there might be, but for now, I'm not aware of any.
All right, thank you very much. And just to buttress what you said, I have a relation who had fibroid, and she did everything she could not to do surgery, drank all manner of things. Well, the good news is she still did the surgery and she has her children. So, wow. And a lot of people are writing in. Please forgive me, I may not be able to read this now until when we have taken the next feature. But let me say, this one said Joe from JBK. I don't know what JBK is. Maybe if you write it full, we can explain. I like what he did here. He said Okmanachi, Devan, Abai, Memuna. Thank you. I'm Joe from JBK. I don't know where that JBK is, but all the same, thank you. Somebody says, another one says here that she has challenge with her breast. What could that? Okay, we already mentioned something about breast cancer, and I know that my winning team did something quite good to tell us about the prevalence in Nigeria. If it's ready, can we have that bit on breast cancer, then we'll talk more.
We may have heard the observance No Bra Day. It is one observance all ladies globally are ever eager to chant. It doesn't just come from the fact that women are happy to be free of the burden of wearing a bra, but more an avenue to bring to the awareness of the enemy and destroyer of the mammalian gland, breast cancer. Breast cancer is a prevalent type of cancer characterized by uncontrolled breast cell development. Every year, there is an all-time recorded increase in breast cancer world over. Although it affects both men and women are more likely to be affected. It is no secret that it is the most frequent cancer in our sub-Saharan Africa, accounting for the highest age-standardized incidence rate worldwide. The case in Nigeria is one of great concern, as it is the leading cause of cancer-related mortality in the country. This accounts for 23% of our diagnoses and 18% of deaths. These high death rates are caused by delayed diagnosis, which is further fueled by the lack of understanding of how the knowledge of breast cancer risk factors affects the lifestyle and dietary choices of Nigerians across age groups. According to statistics of years past, breast cancer is present in around 63 out of every 100,000 women, and an age-standardized mortality rate of 25.5 per 100,000. One would expect that as we advance as a nation, the numbers will decrease. But unfortunately, the numbers keep increasing. The question on the minds of most women is, how can these be reduced, if not completely eradicated?
The fear of disease is the beginning of wisdom for a lot of us. And what I picked up from that bit is early detection, which comes from knowing. But a lot of us, we mentioned earlier, we don't do checkups regularly, but at least you can do your self-examination. How to do that?
Yeah, I was taught how to do it. But to be honest, I even joked with the doctor. I said, me with my small breast. I've noticed the women that have been having breast cancer. Of course, it just doesn't. I'm sure the doctor will say it. It's people that have very large breasts. You understand? So when she said do the test,
but that's not true.
I know.
Yeah.
So, but I just joked about it because I said, well, I wanted to find it safe.
Yeah. No, but it's easier for you who don't have very large ones
to check,
to be able to detect than for us who are big. So you see, every morning what I do, I raise my hands up. I go the side, I check whether I have a lump from under my armpits and all that. I press everywhere, I try to check my nipples. That's one scary thing. Every time I think of it, I'm like, but there was something my doctor said, and I realized that some friends that I had, that their grandmother had it, their mother had it, they already having they are
anxious,
symptoms of, so sometimes they say, I don't know whether it's hereditary.
It is.
Okay. So
okay,
you
let's
see,
say, Doctor,
yeah,
please,
so
can you answer that
I
question,
think-
Doctor?
So you have
can
to
you
be
quickly
careful
answer the
if
question?
you're
Is
in that
breast
circle.
cancer something I can pick on the road, or does it follow come? You know what I mean?
Breast
Hereditary.
cancer is hereditary. In
The
fact, there is a-
director, can you get it, doctor? Okay.
there is a gene for it that can be tested in people who have family history. And if the gene is present, there are some of them, even before the breast cancer develop, they remove their breast. And they do prophylactic breast removal. They get that radical because of the devastation of breast cancer. But the simple thing is just early detection. Like you have mentioned, self-examination. Husband can help wife to examine the breast. And it's pleasurable that way. Apart from that, you can see the doctor if you detect anything, and then the doctor can confirm, you can do other tests. And then there is a simple, small needle test to just check if the doctor is not sure, just to take a part of that place and see if there is any cancer cell, you know. So, as you have said, early detection. Once it's detected early, it can be cured.
All right, so talking about early detection, some people may not understand how it's done. Let's see if we can have this on a self-breast examination. Director, can we have a bit? Thank you so much. Let's quickly take a bit of meals here. Hello, Elizabeth and the house. Good morning to you. And how are your families? I'm one of the numerous fans and always watching your program, only that the network is not very friendly. This is my direct line. You can reach me. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. We will be... Another person says, good morning to you. Oh, I'm Sarah from Kuje. I love this program. Thank you so much, Sarah. And still from our WhatsApp group, and this person says, oh wow, what did I just do? Good morning, you're doing a great job in the studio. This topic is very educative. Open up during a relationship is the key to affecting your future. That's Amos from Jos. Thank you, Amos. And another person says here, good morning, distinguished women with pure hearts. I love your conversation this morning. I was carried away with it. I usually don't stay on NTA, but my subscription got finished recently. And I'm happy I joined for this GIST Common Health Challenge. Thank you, subscriptions are finished. Another person says, thank you so wonderfully. This is a good program. Women's challenges, women's, I don't know. Okay, we are just appreciating the topic, and I also want to believe that you have also learned from it. And another person says, good morning. some movement around my stomach. What could it be? All right.
See a doctor.
We don't know what
Go
to
and
say.
see a doctor, please. All right. There's not much of time to go ahead, but I would like Devon to speak in conclusion about women and how to ensure that we maintain our balance in good health.
You see, I'll conclude on something that I wish I'd spoken about earlier.
Okay.
Those of us that like smoked fish, please be careful.
Yeah.
The people that sell these things, they apply otapiapia directly to it. I've seen this with my own eyes.
What's otapiapia?
I don't want to use the company
Okay,
name.
that's things like killing
kill
cells.
rats.
Okay.
Pesticides.
Oh, okay, yes.
But there's a particular brand, I don't want to call it, people have used that to terminate their lives and all of that. They use it directly on smoked fish. Now, you might eat it and not feel the immediate effects, like maybe visiting the Louvre. But over time of consistently eating that, what could it be doing to our bodies?
Yeah.
Not just women, but also men. I don't know how this thing can be addressed, but it's a huge issue in the country. And I cannot help feeling that it must be contributing somehow to adverse effects in our bodies, not just women.
Okay.
Wow.
Coach?
Well, I would say, please, let's be intentional. Life happens to everybody. So just do the best you can. Look at your lifestyle. What are you doing? What are you not doing? I think it will go a long way.
All right.
Like they say, knowledge is power. So most of the time, look for people who have experienced it, and it would tend to help you.
It does help. And somebody here says, good morning. This show helps us a lot to educate you. Please keep it up. Thank you very much. You didn't write your name, but I see Huzaifa and on your page as your name. Thank you so much. I wish I can take more. Let's see. Director, if you're not in a hurry, let's see if we can get some more messages. Maybe one or two more before we go. Okay, please kindly help me with the number of... Sorry, I will not be able to give you somebody's number from here.
She wants the doctor.
And before we go, Doctor, please can you, speak generally? You have worked with women for a number of years, and based on your experience, what should we be doing to ensure that as a woman, especially Nigerian woman, we keep our health, on the top? Because like I said when we started, women, once we're around, the home gets running really smoothly.
Women are very important to the society. In fact, the whole society revolves around women. So we want them to be healthy so that we can have a healthy society. So prevention is better than cure. Pay attention to your health. Health is wealth. Keep fit.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. And to all the people who have been staying with us for this past 1 hour, thank you for coming. And if you're a woman, love yourself. That's always a key word. Love yourself. And when you say you're loving yourself, it means that you must ensure that you balance your food, you balance your weight, and very importantly for me, your mindset. Please detoxify your mind. Stay positive always. And then that way, you'll transmit positivity into your work, your family, and the entire society. We'll be with you again next week. Again, it's Conversations.